Do you think it was a little disappointing that they didn't get what's her face to dress up like Wednesday at the Halloween party?
That would have been awesome. Welcome back, terrestrials. In this episode, we're doing Scream 6. We're sick of Friday the 13th. You're sick of Friday the 13th. If you're on this video, then you know we did all 8 of the original Friday the 13th. We're going to save the Jason movies. We'll probably scatter those throughout the upcoming months, years, whatever.
Right.
Today, we're throwing it all away. We're throwing the book report away, and we're doing Scream 6. So let's hop into it. It came out this year. It felt like it was in theaters forever because I was looking forward to this. I wanted to see it. So let's hop into it. The first thing that I want to address is the girl in the yellow dress in the beginning is not Margot Robbie.
No.
It is an Australian actress named
She
Samara.
comes from the land down under.
Yeah, basically. She comes from one of those accents.
Right.
Named
Funny,
Samara.
funny accent island.
Yeah, we need to protect that woman at all costs. Because I thought that Margot Robbie was Australian. So
No,
I
she's
thought
English.
English. Yeah, so I knew she had an accent. That's like, so I just didn't even, I was just immediately like, that's got to be her. That aside, that little opening rant aside,
Right.
what did you think of this movie? Like,
I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
The first thing that really came to mind was like, oh shit, I forgot everything that happened in Scream 5. Fuck, I'm so fucked. Like it really like it got me because they were like, I was like, was that person in the fifth movie? Fuck. Oh yeah, I think so. And then they kept like going back and being like, what was the 4, like hardcore 4 or whatever they were calling
the
core
core
4.
The core 4.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, so they must have all been in the movie last time. Fuck.
Yeah. Those are
Paying
Randy's niece and nephew.
Right. Yeah. Other than
Jamie
that,
Foxx.
I will definitely say the whole beginning,
Mhm.
the Drew Barrymore moment, was great.
Yeah, the
That was
false
interesting. That
beginning.
was
Like, yeah.
that was fun.
Yeah.
Up and even with Zero, from Grand Budapest, like
Yeah.
his apartment and stuff had so many like, oh hey, look at that. Hey,
Yeah.
he has a last podcast on the left poster up
Yeah.
there, and
Of course he does. Yeah.
oh yeah, of course they'd be watching Jason Takes Manhattan on TV.
Yeah, I
It
thought
was
that
like,
was funny because we had just finished watching it, and I was like, of
right.
course.
Yeah.
I have to see this movie again.
Right. So yeah, I'll say that was great. Just how they set that all up, put that all together, and then like M. Night Shyamalan switched us, being like,
it was great because for 5 movies, we've been seeing technically almost 10 times at this point. We've been seeing that phone call killer thing in the beginning of the movie, whether it's girls watching the movie and then it happening to them, or it just happened in the beginning of the movie. It was something completely different. They threw that away and they were like, let's not do that again. Let's do this.
Right.
So that I was really excited, and it made me more pumped to get further into the movie. I was like, okay, that changed. What else did they change? And yeah, so that I thought that was great.
Yeah, I definitely like, I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the when I was watching it, I was really realizing, oh wow, like Gen Z and the boomer generation and the Gen Xers, they really have unique horror. Like they're the horror generations.
And I was thinking about that when we were going to do this, because I was like, man, I bet you a lot of people online are like, this movie sucks. It's the same stupid shit. Blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, I was thinking like us, we grew up with a generation of 80s slashers. Like we're from that era. But like you have to keep in mind that not only is Scream not from that era, it it has moved beyond that era. So
Right.
if you're going into this thinking you're going to get a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare on Elm Street, you're wrong in thinking that. That's your fault you didn't
Right.
enjoy the movie. This is
So
something
those are,
completely different. This is a 90s horror movie that survived, and it's really the only one.
yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
can't think of anything that's still running that originated in the 90s.
Not that has continued. And now we'll come to
Maybe
another.
Saw? Was
Yeah.
Saw 2000s? I
Yeah.
think the first one was in 2000. So
But
yeah.
even like the no, what I was really trying to like come up with was like a name like two amazing millennial movies. So that would be when we were in high school. Okay.
Mhm.
Name like three really great horror movies from that generation, you
From the
know.
high school years?
Yeah. I mean, I came up with like The
Scream.
Faculty.
Yeah, Scream, The
Scream
Faculty.
would be a Gen X
Was it?
because yeah, it was 96.
Okay, yeah. I didn't
So
go into
all of
high
those
school until
kids, all the
99.
high school kids in that
Right.
movie would be more Gen Xers. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, be Gen Xers. But like The Faculty, I was in
Hmm.
high school when The Faculty came out.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, it was like in
There was
and
that J horror run, like the J horror American
yeah,
remakes.
yeah, exactly. But you know, that The Ring, uh,
Yeah.
we had like Blair Witch, and
That.
then we got into reboots or remakes, all the remakes
Yeah.
right as soon as I got out of high school. And then we got into found footage movies,
Hmm.
but Gen Z, now I'm watching it and I'm kind of viewing it from the outside of going, yeah, they're just like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the counterculture, the hippies in the van, like a
Yeah.
boomer shit and
Right, right. Yeah, it
stuff.
is. I mean, technically, yeah,
Yeah,
but that's what we grew up on. So
right.
that, but like also you look back at those movies now and you go like, how did those people just decide to pick up and go across the country like in a van, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Like
Right.
everybody just hopped in a fuck van and left, and that
Yeah.
was normal as shit. Like, how do you not have responsibilities or lives? Like everybody just went to counselor camp or whatever. Like, get the
Right,
fuck out of
right.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um,
But so what did you
so
come up
yeah, that's
with this Gen Z thing? Like
like
with
I enjoy like I mean, think about like some of the Gen Z horror style movies. That's kids in high school acting like high schoolers
Mhm,
and me having to look at it like, like back in my day, like if that thought pops into my head,
mhm.
then the movie's doing well. It's not garnered to me, it's garnered to my kids and shit,
Right, right, right.
but
That's
I
funny
get to
though
enjoy.
that you would say that it's doing well. Because
Yeah,
like normally like when we listen to like new music, we're like, in my day it was better. You know what I mean? So like the fact that you watch the movie and you go, yeah, all right, that's cool because in my day it was this. You know what I mean? So it's like
right.
it's passing the torch, but also you're enjoying it, which is two different things. Like we should be Stan just going, everything's shit,
Yeah,
which it is,
yeah,
but
exactly. Because I mean, like, I can't be a cynical bastard all the time. Like, there
right.
has to be like a moment where I'm like, okay, just stop and watch the movie, have fun. Do I
Yeah.
have gripes about this movie? Fuck yeah,
Yeah, I got a
but
handful.
I just I started really viewing that point of these kids, the modern day kids
Mhm,
that are going to theaters, that are in high school, that they're high schooler in the movie played for high schoolers,
mhm.
and I was just I was like, yeah, I'm not part of that generation, but thank God that they got their version of a horror movie like this,
Yeah.
good,
But
so
to also be fair,
Well, to be fair,
To be
to be
fair,
fair,
To be fair.
to be fair,
the number one, they're in college in this one, and number two, even back when Scream 5 came out, like all these kids were still in their 20s. So,
Right.
but
Right. I mean,
to
yeah,
me,
they're
they still look like freshmen. So I don't, I don't know.
right.
Um,
Right.
but
All
yeah,
right. You want to hear my first gripe?
yeah. Let's hear.
Do you think it was a little disappointing that they didn't get what's her face to dress up like Wednesday at the Halloween party?
That would have been awesome. That
Yeah.
would have been really, really funny, and that is a missed opportunity. I don't know that I would put that as a gripe, but I think that that's hilarious that you thought that.
Yeah. That was like, oh, she's a pirate. And then my brain went, or it would have been better. Like, yeah, sure, keep her a pirate, but like someone dressed up like Wednesday Adams, because
Right.
that's going to be the like
Oh yeah.
everybody's going to be dressed up like Wednesday Adams this Halloween,
Mhm.
because it got real popular. So, but yeah, my brain was going, that would have been hilarious if she would have dressed up like Wednesday
And
Adams.
like bumped into her
Um,
and gave her some like weird look,
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
then walked out like in the dance pose and shit, fucking because it's a meme now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what you got on gripes?
So my biggest gripe was well, okay, so there's a few.
Oh yeah, I mean
Yeah,
we're gonna
there's a
take
few,
turns on the
but
gripe.
I think that one thing that really bothered me was Hayden Panettiere in this movie, Kirby. Um, was she drunk the whole entire time they were filming? Because she was,
FBI.
yeah, she was slurring her
Okay.
words and like real. She was just like, I guess it's good thing I'm not the killer then.
Hey, the
And I'm
woman
like,
was
whoa,
stabbed.
whoa.
She got stabbed like a
Yeah,
couple
I
of years
mean,
ago.
yeah, okay. Like
Yeah,
it
no.
just whatever. But yeah, she seemed drunk the whole time and like that kind of bothered me. I kept like it kept distracting me because
Right.
like in number 4 she wasn't like that. And her character was good in number 4 like, and then in this one it just I don't know, she was off-putting. And every time, and they tried like very hard to make her the red herring,
Right.
like the way she would walk off camera, she would like and then walk away, like she
Right.
acted suspiciously. And that like that whole her character, all those things made her like a gripe for me. I
Yeah, that was like my number one thing when and she's like, I'm FBI.
Mhm.
My brain went, fuck no, you're not. Fucking all I can hear right now is uh Agent Skinner fucking sitting there being like, you want to put a suit on? You want to put a tie on?
Yeah, yeah,
Are we not professional? Leather coat and a tie-dye t-shirt? Mm-mm. No, no,
yeah,
no.
yeah,
So they were like trying to, yeah, set up that idea, like, ooh, who is she?
yeah, yeah.
So I mean, she served her purpose. So they were just
I
dying.
don't think she added anything to the movie.
You know what she added to the movie? Oh, we can't get Nev Campbell.
Yeah, well, they should have paid Nev Campbell properly. For
No, they
anybody who's watching and doesn't know
yeah,
why Nev Campbell was not in this movie, it's because they would not pay her enough money to do this movie.
right.
Not because she wanted too much money, she just wanted equal pay as a woman and they wouldn't give it to her. So they let her just not be in the fucking movie instead.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still talked about her like she was on the other side of the screen somehow. Like,
Right.
and
Right.
even Kirby now has a replacement in these movies, being Randy's nephew, the girl that
Right.
gives a little speeches. So
Right. The movie ruler.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. Like, even though, like, when she was going through her spiel and my brain was going, do we really need this nowadays? I mean, I get it, but do we need
Oh,
it?
you mean
And even,
the one in the on the college campus where she's like telling them the rules of the
yeah,
movie thing? Yeah, I
where they
didn't.
have to do this in every Scream movie,
Yeah,
where it's like, yeah, okay, but like anytime those, like, in the first movie it was cool, in
yeah.
the second movie it was like, okay, and then what they did it like a couple more times. They brought
Well, they
the
did it in
movie
5.
nerds.
They did it in
Yeah,
5, and then in 4 there was Kieran Culkin and another guy played like the horror movie club or whatever.
Right.
So like they do have that. But I will say, as far as like all the other productions of that like sequence, they have all been far better than this girl. Like she did a great job in number 5 when she was laying it out there. But in this one, I just felt like they were filling 15 minutes.
Damn.
Like they in number 1 and 2 like Randy, okay, it makes sense. Like in number 2 he's like,
Right.
if you're watching this, I'm dead, blah blah blah,
The sequels are
but
always
yeah, exactly. And then in number 4 they took a different route. They made the movie club kids like kind of give it as a spiel, but it was more of a
right.
dialogue between them and Gail. She was like, well, I lived through this before, and they're like, no, you lived through that, this is a requel, blah blah blah. And it was like a conversation that they were having that was also
Right.
doing it. That was really
Right.
smart. This one, they did it in 5 where she just lays it out like Randy. Cool, fine. I'm
Right.
all right with that. Bring that back, give the nod, cool. This one felt like I was fucking stupid and they had to explain the movie to me. Like they were
Right.
so blatantly doing it that it upset me.
Yeah. Even though she did say we're not in a sequel, we're in a franchise, proving that the second movie is the sequel, and if there's any more afterwards,
Everything
is a
after
fucking
that is a sequel. Everything after number 2 is a sequel.
okay.
Or number
No,
1
she said,
actually.
but
She calls it a
I felt
franchise because it's a franchise, but they're all sequels of
right.
the first one
Okay.
in the franchise.
But yeah, I felt like that's just getting like too much in these movies. I mean, if they make any more, like we're getting
seven.
thin.
7 is already scheduled for next year.
Yeah, see, the Scream franchise is getting very thin.
Nah, I'm good. Keep it going. Go fucking 20 of these. I'll watch every single one of them. I really, really enjoy these. Like,
do we need to be in fucking New York? Even though we technically weren't in New York, it was Montreal, but
so the thing with that is I understand what you're saying, but also we just finished Jason Goes to Manhattan.
yes.
Did he need to go to Manhattan?
No, but
he
you
did
knew
not.
when Jason was in Manhattan. Like when Ghostface went to Manhattan, there was no like iconic moments of like, that
we literally
Ghostface
complained on Friday 8. The whole movie is set on a boat, and then he gets to Manhattan in the last 20 minutes. He doesn't need to be in Manhattan. It would be cool if they were going to do that. He should have been in You literally said the movie should have started in Manhattan, and he should have been in Manhattan the whole time.
right.
Scream literally heard you and said, "Here you go, Jerry," and you're complaining about it,
No,
Jerry.
I'm complaining that New York as a backdrop was never like okay, the only things that I can really like New York, the convenience store and the subway. That felt like New York stuff. But we never had like that great moment where like Jason is in Times Square.
Right.
Like that would have been interesting to see that like pan out of like her the victims in Scream like running around. They're in Times Square, or something, and like or better yet, they're at a pizza place. They're at a pizza place in New York, and then like some guys like, "Yo, you got to call," and stuff, and then we do it there. Just if you're gonna pump up this idea of like Scream in New York, you got to make your backdrop just not boring.
Okay, I feel like I'm finding myself defending this movie a lot
Yeah.
tonight, which is okay with me. But
Go ahead.
the movie is not called Scream 6 Ghostface in Manhattan. That's Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Right.
This is called Scream 6. The
Right.
setting is just in Manhattan because the girls went to college in New York.
Right.
So the New York is not the focus. It's just where it happens to be this time because they're Ghostface is, I guess technically Ghostface is following the girls. It's not like you know, Ghostface moved to Manhattan and they're visiting him for the weekend. Like, it's not, they're not making a show out of New York. It's just where it is.
Yeah.
Maybe the next one will be in Florida during spring break.
They shot it during Montreal. I mean, in Montreal. Why couldn't it be Ghostface in Montreal? So
Because nobody wants to hear Ghostface run around with a French accent.
yeah. But holy shit, Billy's CGI looked horrible.
Yeah, they did a good job in 5. This one they did not do a good
They
job.
did not. What was the best scene in the movie?
That shotgun scene.
Was it the shotgun scene?
I fucking love that shit. Like
So
that
the
whole
convenience store,
well, okay, so this brings me to another topic.
Ghostface with a gun.
Well,
Look at
number one,
Michael,
yeah, that shit was
Michael,
fucking
Jason, Leatherface. We want to let you know. Guess what? You could use fucking guns and they
right.
work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They are phenomenal at killing. This has
yeah.
been tested for hundreds of years now.
Right.
So feel free to pick something up that might kill somebody real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
But like that whole scene, that whole like bodega scene, she like
Yeah.
busts in, the dude is like, "What's your problem? There's a line," and then Ghostface walks in, he's like, "You got a problem?" And then
Right.
like this whole like he stabs the fuck out of that dude, and it looks brutal as shit. Like it's
Yeah.
all CGI, I know that, but it looks good.
It still looks
And
good.
it's a brutal, like you don't see, like we just came off of not seeing any fucking kills for 8 movies.
Right. There was a lot of talking
then-
in between that.
Yeah, and boom, this guy is getting shanked up. And then the next guy walks up to him, gets shanked up. You know what I mean? Like this movie fucking went hard. There was long periods with nothing but talking, but they made up for them in these moments, and these moments weren't even super long. But yeah,
right.
he blast that dude with the shotgun. The scene looked cool. He looked cool. It looked like Terminator. Like
right.
he walks up and you see him like pointing down the, you see the camera pointing up the barrel at him, and then you see like the blast go off, blood, the body convulses or like shakes or whatever from impact. Like all that shit was just badass. And I think like one thing we always forget is like when movies come out and they do the same thing over and over and over again, like Jason, we go, can't you do something different? And then a movie like this comes out and they're trying different things. And then we go, what are you thinking when you tried to do that? You know what I mean? Like they can't win, but like the little things that they're doing, like showing the stabbing, giving Ghostface a shotgun, making more of an action movie, John Wick, Terminator style execution with it, like it made you go, oh yeah, fucking Ghostface is just like pure anger and hatred in a different way from like your classic slashers. And that scene is something that was very subtle, but very new and stylized in that scene, which also lends to like it being my favorite scene in the movie. Ghostface talks a lot, and he talks to people a lot. Like when he's like the whole time with Gail, Courtney Cox, he's talking to her while she's like looking for her gun and like blah blah blah. Ghostface is dead silent in that fucking bodega because he's listening for where they are, and that is uncharacteristic of him. You would think he would be sitting there going, you know, I'm gonna get you, blah blah blah, you know, whatever. And he's completely silent, and it's different from every other movie. Like you don't see him quietly sneaking around. He is very deliberate in his shit. So that scene was the best scene in the movie for me because it was different, it was brutal, it was hardcore, it looked good. Like I really enjoyed that scene.
Cool. Like yeah, I definitely got that from it. Back to the talking thing. Yeah, I did notice that like he was communicating a lot more on the telephone. Like there was more of conversations. And I was like, oh, that's different. You know, usually it's just the phone call, intimidation, fear, they start panicking, and so he can spring,
Mhm.
but now it's like he's almost intimidating on the phone where, they're trying to make this, you know, conversation and stuff, um,
Well, he
and
did that in the past. It was just it's
right,
ramped up more and more. Cause like there was I remember like one of the big things from the other one, I can't remember which one, but he's talking to Sydney and he's like, I'm gonna gut you like a fucking fish. And
right.
like, so like he was still talking to him and intimidating him on the phone. But like in this one, the opposite was he was dead silent, you know. Uh
True, true. But that was to get her, because she wouldn't hang the phone up.
mhm,
Two, she wouldn't like she was like stationary. They needed her to run out of the house. So they needed her in a certain place. So you keep letting the fear grow, you keep letting it
mhm,
grow by talking to her on the phone, making it more aggressive, and then go. But when they were talking to Gail, um, like they knew, like like they called her on the phone, and like the best part was when she called back. She called back on their phone. That was
mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just noticed it just feels like a different type of mode. But then
Mhm,
again, we're talking about different serial killers, so each ghost face, whoever's going to be ghost
mhm.
face at the time, has different methods.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All right,
um
before we find out what your favorite scene of the movie was,
okay.
can we talk about Gail's boyfriend just real quick? This motherfucker picked up a phone and said, "Gail, it is for you." She said, "Who is it?" And he says, "The killer? You've been dating this woman for how long? More than 10
No,
minutes. You know that this is Gail Weathers. She was involved in the stab movie, like the Waynesboro massacre and all
right.
this other shit. And somebody says it's the killer on the phone, and you just nonchalantly hand her the phone saying, like, oh, he said it's the killer. Like, how stupid are you? How
Well,
fucking stupid
she
are you?
didn't marry him for
That's true.
the brains,
Yeah.
you know, because the first thing she does is she's like, "Have you seen his body?" It's just like, "Yeah, we saw it. We
Yeah.
saw it. Hey,
All
score,
those muscles wasted.
go for it, girl."
Apparently,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
she said something like apparently. I don't know. She didn't
yeah,
give a fuck about him, but yeah.
right.
All right.
Um,
What was your thing? What was your
the
scene?
subway, the
Okay, yeah.
subway was
It was
perfect.
reminiscent of that Jason subway scene.
Oh, well, no, it's not even, because Jason is intimidating and walks down that fucking hallway, and motherfuckers got out of his way.
That's true.
What I liked was the kind of like, okay, you got a bunch of people, and I guess it would be stab
Hmm.
mask
Hmm.
in on the train, and like who's gonna when is he gonna appear?
Hmm.
You know, and I also like that no one said, "Do you think that's a good idea?" I mean, the subway's kind of busy. We could probably just get there like whenever, you know. Can we not, like, there are taxis in New York. We could take a
Yeah,
taxi,
yeah.
you know? But no, let's take the subway, and my brain's just going, "Oh, yep." Um and it was so great, like seeing like other people dressed up in Halloween costumes.
Hmm.
It was nice because, New York Halloween, you really don't think of anything, but
Yeah.
um and then, like, seeing small things. Is that Ghostface looking at me? Is
Hmm.
that Ghostface? And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
The only problem compared to the convenience store scene
Hmm.
is that girl got stabbed, and then at the end of the movie she just comes running out like everything was cool. No, 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 it was cool. I was wearing like plate metal across my chest. He didn't stab me
Do
that
you
bad.
I swear to God, you don't watch these movies. They
I sw-
literally say that her and Gail are at the hospital, they're hanging on. And then at the end of the movie, whoever Kurt, no, the guy, the weird guy, I'm gonna get to him. I'm
right.
gonna get to him. But the weird guy's like, yeah, Gail's at the hospital still. Whatever her name is on the way. They couldn't stop her from coming. and then she
Right.
comes running out of nowhere. So like she survived the attack. Clearly, she's on the
Right.
subway. There's enough people there. Probably one of them was a doctor. So like she clearly saved it. So she didn't come out of nowhere. Like you can't play it off
Yeah,
like
but
this
it's
chick
just
just
like
showed up.
the people have died in these movies for lesser stabs. She's gotten stabbed twice in this fucking movie, okay? In the
Yeah.
apartment and then
Well, she caught the
in
arm. She got the arm slice in the apartment.
she got the arm sliced.
You
Yeah,
could
but
walk that off.
I thought yeah, these motherfuckers they're brutal
That
and
one
stuff. I
girl,
mean,
Annika, gets stabbed a couple times in the stomach, but she dies on the ladder scene.
yeah, I
So
know.
like,
That's another thing in my brain where I was just like first of all, if someone's like oozing, okay, blood, that shit's slippery as a motherfucker. Like,
mhm, yeah,
but I laughed when the on the rail. I'm
mhm,
just like just go. You're
yeah,
like 3. I can literally see 3 rungs.
mhm,
You're there. You're
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know, and then like when she fell, I was like, good. That's what you get for fucking that's what you get for not just going.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
sitting there, you're thinking about other shit. That motherfucker, he's not going to be able to, he does not have the upper body strength to sit there and he's just going to go up and down until you lose your balance. Just keep your balance because he's not going to be able to do that, motherfucker. No.
yeah. So I thought that that scene was going to play out differently. I thought he was
Yeah.
going to wait for her to get like one rung from the edge and just yank the thing back, and she would have fallen. But because she was all the way at the end, she would have fallen down with the ladder to the ground, and her face would have just planted into the ground. That's how I saw
Right.
that. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I am sure that that's what they are going to do, not the
Right.
tip over and make her fall.
Right. Because yeah, that was my brain like, oh cool, he's only doing this, but just grab those rungs and just pull
Yeah.
back on that motherfucker and she's screwed. I like they do not have the strength to
Yeah.
hold that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely not.
But back to the subway scene. Yeah, the
Yeah.
subway scene was great. Right. Ghostface using a gun. Yeah, that's cool. Uh Courtney Cox getting paid, Nev Campbell not.
Um, so
Anything else?
on your train, your subway scene thing, based on everything you said tonight, I know you didn't pick up a lot of the conversation being said in the movie, but as that girl and Ethan are getting ready to get on to the train or whatever, like they've missed the one train and they're like waiting to get on to the other one. Before she walks away from him, she tells him to stay away from her because he might be Ghostface, you Ghostface motherfucker. And I'm
Right.
just like, was that racist? Is that a race? Did she just say some racist shit to
I
them?
don't
Like she
know.
called him Ghostface. She said, you might be Ghostface, you Ghostface motherfucker. Like you white devil." That's how that felt. That's how that came off to me. And I don't know. Something about that I was like,
No.
is that racist right now? She just called him whiteface, basically. Like
No. But I am gonna forever use that as a racist slur towards white people.
you
Look
Ghostface
at them
bitch.
goddamn ghost face over there. Look at them ghost face motherfuckers. Yep, that's my new shit now.
Yeah,
So
hell yeah. Cool,
um
cool, cool.
but yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it was just supposed to like keep her in the idea that this is a movie.
Mhm.
Um like because that's how I think like all the movie characters in the sense of anybody who talks about, in the movies. And I love the fact that no one calls out their shit and say, this is fucking real life. Would you stop pretending that we're in
Yeah,
a movie?
yeah,
Um, that's another like good point also because why I think a reboot would be nice is because we have our movie, Scream.
right,
Okay. And we are watching Scream as an actual thing
right.
with real victims.
Mhm.
Okay. Then in their reality, they have Stab,
Mhm.
which has like actual like or fictitious killers that are taking place in the events of the Scream movie.
Mhm.
And this feels like a lot. Like, do you think because they're Stab and what would be our Scream, do you think that's just too much?
Well, okay, I would say
I
instinctively.
mean, the original Scream started out because they wanted to make fun of those 80s slasher horror movies, you know, and they're like, don't have sex and don't do drugs and, you know, don't drink. And then in their reality, they have like a fucking cheesy ass slasher movie, you know?
I think that instinctively, yes. Like if somebody told me they were writing a movie and that was going to be an element to their movie, I would say, don't do that. That's too much. But
Right.
because when I saw the second one, which is the first appearance of Stab, I didn't think that I didn't think it was too much because I didn't think that far into it, and I just
Right.
watched the movie and enjoyed it. And then it was commonplace in the movie, and it
Right.
gives a lot of story. It opens up the universe into more story because like in for I think even in this one, people are in three. They're making like the killers want to make their own Stab movies,
Right.
so they're doing it for a purpose, which gives them a motive. So it opens up not just going after Sydney. Like in three, Sydney is just kind of a part of it. It's more or
Mhm.
less like this dude is killing and he's trying to get Sydney too, but it's because he's trying to make this like grandioso like murder film. Or no, that was number four,
Right.
but still the same thing applies. Like it's more about the killer than it is about Sydney. She's just
Right.
who they try to kill all the time. Um,
Right.
do
Right.
you do
I don't
you
know.
think it's
My
too
brain,
much? I think it would be awesome
I
if they started Stab movies. Like if
just
they just
started
started
like,
making Stab movies, like real low budget, like just give Rob Zombie $1 million and go make a Stab movie. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
no,
but
that one.
would that just be rebooting Scream?
No, because so Stab follows the storyline of Scream, but
Right.
if they just didn't acknowledge that and just said, "Here's a Stab movie. It's got Ghostface in it," then Ghostface could do whatever he wanted. You know what I
Right.
mean? Kind of like
How many
New
Stab movies
Nightmares.
are there?
So if this is
Six.
so this is number 6. There was no Stab movie for this one. Number 5, there was no Stab movie. Number 4, there was a Stab. So they're only at like Stab 3 or 4.
Okay, what do you think in the Stab movies are called?
Interesting. And that could just be a
Yeah.
rabbit hole forever, dude. So,
Whoa, we're really getting
in
fucking
Scream, the
deep
movies are called Stab, but the in Stab
in
they're called
Stab.
Shank, and in Shank they're
Yeah.
called Poke, and in
Yeah.
Poke they're called Shivved, and in Shiv they're called Stabbed again.
Yeah, because this is gonna
It's like
like
looking into a mirror with a mirror behind you, you know, that like that fucking thing. That's basically what you just
yeah,
created.
exactly. Because in this fake movie that we are watching in our reality, there's a Scream.
Right,
And then in their reality, there's Stab.
right,
What is the movie Stab
right.
that is being created? And then they have to just fucking keep going, man.
Yeah.
Fucking
Fuck it. They might as
there. I
well.
just blew Joe Rogan. I gotta call Joe Rogan right now. Fucking I just figured out the universe. Okay,
And you
Joe.
have Steven Seagal play the knife that
Right. Yeah,
Ghostface
the knife.
uses.
Yeah.
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 And like
Jesus.
Ghostface can throw it, and then Steven Seagal can come out and just be like,
Yeah.
"Huh, huh, 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 huh." And
I
then,
think for Scream 6, I think
yeah.
the killer should just be Pauly Shore. Okay. And this is why. Because Pauly Shore is just tired of being Pauly Shore. So he's just gonna start killing motherfuckers.
Hell yeah.
It's Inception.
Yeah, I would
Okay.
watch that. I would watch that in a heartbeat. I would be sitting right here
Yeah.
like I fucking loved it. I love
So
Pauly Shore, and it's hilarious that he just played himself being sick of
right.
being who he is, and he started killing people.
Like right at the end where we go to our Scooby-Doo movie and they have to reveal the killers, and it's becoming thin. Like I said, like every Scream movie, the idea keeps getting like thinner and thinner, where it's just like, what, who, you know, and fuck it, number 7, it's just, or better yet, just give me like nobody. Like, who are you? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
just thought it'd be cool.
wanted to kill you. I thought the scream thing would, I mean, the stab thing would be kind of useful.
Yeah,
So
yeah. All
yeah,
right.
give me that. Give me like just nobody. Like,
So you've touched on a lot of problematic storyline issues with this. Um,
it's a
I would
horror movie. I
I
mean,
would
none of it
say
fucking
that
matters.
right, but I would say that like that's the majority of what you've touched on is like storyline type issues.
Right.
Um, and you're right, it is a horror movie, so like they're not going to write a beautiful storyline, except for the first one. The first one was great, but
Right. This would have
they
been
already did
redeemed
that.
if
So
fucking
Matthew Lillard was in it.
yeah, Matthew, because they were setting that shit up perfectly, and my brain was going, oh,
And there was
is it,
three
is it?
killers. Spoiler alert: there was three killers.
Right.
And the last one to like reveal himself, like they took a while on that last killer reveal.
Right.
So I was like, oh shit, dude, one of them's gonna be Matthew Lillard, dude. That's fucking awesome. And then no, they missed it again.
Yeah.
Like I know he teaches in New York or whatever at a college. Like, take your
I mean, they had the
vacation
TV
pay.
and they were like, that wouldn't kill somebody. And
Yeah.
she
I
even
mean,
says it. And I'm just sitting there going, like,
maybe
oh,
7.
great.
Maybe 7. I will keep watching him until he returns.
Because, I mean, we had Kirby return and, like, yeah, I guess she technically didn't die. Did
I mean,
or
she only
didn't.
caught one shank to the side of the stomach. Like she shows where her scar is. That's not necessarily a murder. Like that doesn't doom you. So like it only dooms you if you hit the stomach or the intestines or something like that. Like she caught it off to the side. She caught it in
Right.
meat. So it like her living, I don't really question that too much. But so as far as the storyline goes, my biggest issue with the storyline itself is that the Quinn death like swap body swap thing that the cop tells at the end.
Right.
Like, you mean to tell me, number one,
Spoilers.
spoilers. Number one, if you live in New York City, why did it take 45 minutes for the cops to show? No, it took
Because it's New
like
York.
7 hours for the cops to show up in this theory, because they were sitting down having dinner, having the core 4 conversation.
Right.
Ghostface attacks. It's over and the cops are there. It's morning. Like the sun is out.
Yeah. And that happens a couple times in this movie.
They like the cops took forever to get there.
Yeah.
Like straight up. That was so annoying. Like I saw that, but outside that, okay. How the cop goes, yeah, she didn't actually die. I swapped her body with a fresh one. I'm sorry, what? So your daughter, they know your daughter lives there because, you're the captain or whatever. And all these cops arrive to the scene and somehow you drug her alive body out and put a dead body of a 16-year-old girl, or I guess 22-year-old girl, in place of her. And nobody went, that's not your daughter. Like that whole thing doesn't make sense to me.
Nah. Yeah.
Like, how did he brought a dead body with him to a crime scene? Like, nobody questioned that as he was pushing the body bag into the building, not taking it out.
Right.
He rode the elevator with a body in it, like back up to the floor, not out of the, like. Sorry,
Maybe
that
they
just
just
really bugged me.
yeah. I
That
mean,
that was the thing that took me out of the movie.
I don't. And another thing about the killers, their modem and stuff, is you can be obsessed with something to the
Mhm.
point of murder, like in
Yeah.
stabbing,
Yeah.
but you don't just get upset because someone killed your brother and now you're going to set up this elaborate plan and you're going to be just stabbing randos
Mhm.
fucking for no reason.
Mhm.
That's not like Billy and Stu in the first motherfucking movie.
Mhm.
That made sense
Mhm.
because of mental stability
Yeah.
as, you know, as kids.
Right.
But just to say, yeah, you killed our brother, and the redheaded girl was like going like psycho. She had
Mhm.
psycho eyes,
Mhm.
and the hunky boy was like psycho eyes, and then like cop dad was doing the same thing instantly. And
Mhm.
I was like, you know, the homicidal trait in a human being just doesn't like, you know, like get revenge by going, you know,
Right.
psycho crazy and
A
stuff, you know?
revenge killing is typically more or less like you drive up, shoot them, and say, fuck you, you killed my brother, and drive off. Like they don't
Right.
go through this.
No, it yeah, it's not or okay, we want to do this and stuff. Okay, we're gonna go up, we're gonna knock on the door, we're gonna kick the door in, we're gonna go stab her. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You know, like it's focused, it's
Yeah.
hyper focused.
Yeah.
This seems more kind of like yeah, it's schizophrenic focus
Yeah.
where it's like, yeah, we'll do these elaborate plans and we'll have like a fucking decorating room of like old shit and stuff, you know, like yeah, this shit don't fly. So, but
We talk
is
about
it
how improbable it was to have all that stuff.
yeah.
He
Oh,
had
like Billy
every, yeah,
like the
everything.
bloody shirt that would have been rotten. That would have
Yeah,
been
in
really
anything,
rotten.
any of the things, like the
Right.
knives, the outfits, the TV. Like, how did you get all that shit? You know you didn't get all that shit. And if you're looking for Ghostface's lair, then probably the mile-long alleyway with all the Ghostface spray paintings
Yeah.
might be a clue as to what
Right.
where the dude might be. Like everything was tagged up around those buildings with Ghostface stuff.
What really got me was each mask had DNA. My
Right.
brain goes, how did they get like I understand blood,
Mhm.
but at a certain point, DNA does break down. So imagine,
Mm,
I mean,
I think they found out who Jack the Ripper was through DNA, like semen on the one of the victims' dresses.
presumed,
Right, but I'm
but I
saying like they
like,
tested the semen for DNA. So like that was the 1600s. So
yeah, sure. If you
okay,
believe
these
in that kind of
okay, if I believe in computers and in
you can
science and
believe in
stuff,
that
right.
stuff, you
Right.
know, yeah, that's
How old's
science
the earth,
stuff.
Jerry? 6,000 years.
6,000 years. Heathen. No,
Yeah.
yeah, but like no, I just my brain just cannot think that like a swab test of fucking like shit on some rusty fucking knife
Hmm.
would get you their like DNA. And plus they had that information fucking like the next day. That shit would have taken months in a fucking lab to
Hmm.
find out like, oh, we got their DNA, you know?
Mm. Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's true.
it was um that's where I was geeking out like during Courtney Cox's like when she's like sitting there like talking real long on the phone and stuff. I was like, oh, that was definitely the girl that was sitting there talking forever on the
Yeah.
phone.
uh Only a bitch talking on the phone that long.
Yeah, only she would have sat there and
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a conversation with you, Courtney Cox. Fucking
Oh
like
shit, which one was it I was watching? Was it 3? Was it 4? I can't remember. But Courtney Cox gets to a vehicle and it starts playing the Friends song. And she like smacks the
Yeah.
radio real quick. She's like, "What the hell?" Like that shit is fucking hilarious. Like I didn't
I
even
think that was two or three.
2 or 3. Yeah, I don't know. I watched
Yeah.
all of them within the last week, and I've watched 6 like 4 times. So
Nice.
yeah, I just they're all running
Nice.
together right now.
Right. All right, you want to do a quick Holy Trinity?
Yeah, let's knock it out.
Hey, all right. First one,
Kill,
thrill it or kill it.
kill.
You
I
killing
enjoyed it.
this?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. No, thrill. Did I say kill? Thrill. I enjoyed
Kill.
it. I
I was
liked
like,
it.
wow, yeah. I'm gonna also go thrill.
Mhm.
It was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, especially in a bleak era of like nothing being released right now. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. Cult class in it.
I think eventually, yeah, these could
I'm
be.
gonna go no.
Yeah.
I feel it's too modern kind of feel like I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know.
I
I
think
just don't
down
see
the
it.
road it will be. I think it will be a classic, like cult classic
Right.
down the road.
Right. All
All right.
right. Even though I know the answer, would you have paid money to go see it in the theater?
I tried.
No, no.
I will.
No.
I tried. I was stoned and I picked the wrong day and ended
Yeah.
up seeing John Wick 4 instead.
Right.
Not a good first
Are
date
you
kind of thing.
new thing?
Yeah.
Are you more upset after seeing Scream that you didn't see this or that you saw John Wick instead of this?
So yeah, I actually was thinking about this the other day, and I'm like mildly bummed. Yeah, because I would have liked to have seen this in theaters. These
Word.
movies feel like go to the movies to watch these. Like these movies
Right.
like feel big, and they
Right.
feel like that sound system would enhance this movie so much.
And it was in
So yeah.
3D. Um,
But yeah, so yeah, I am a little bit bummed. Would you pay to
okay.
see it?
Nah. I maybe old movies like Scream 1 and 2.
Mhm.
I would have gone to see, but nah. I'm not
That's fair.
too terribly worried. So, all right. And then this goes into Jacob. What do you star this movie?
I don't know. What do you start? You go first. You start.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
not
gonna go
sure. I'm
3.
not sure.
I'm gonna go
3?
right in the middle.
Really? Just run of the
3,
mill? All right.
run of the mill.
Okay.
Like I enjoyed it. I didn't have like this immense great time, but at the same time, I didn't hate it.
Okay.
You know, I wasn't bored.
Mhm.
So 3 in
I
the middle.
specifically sat down and watched this one saying like, don't criticize the movie. Just watch the movie and then
Right.
criticize the movie.
Right.
So I like put myself to it. So yeah, I don't think it's obviously not a 5-star movie.
No.
It's not really a 4-star movie. I mean, I guess I could try to justify it, but I think 3.5. I think 3.5 is good.
Yeah, a little
It's
bit better
better
than
than like, out of the 200 movies that I'm going to watch this year, I would say it's probably one of my favorites. So,
right.
um, yeah, I got to go 3.5.
No, I mean, yeah, that's where it is.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's fair.
no, what was this better than 5?
Yeah, only because it was more brutal. Only because it was more like the universe opened up. They didn't try and stay in the same place. Like
Right.
I liked a lot of the things that you had gripes with.
Right.
Um, those were things that I enjoyed about it. So to me, those things made it more enjoyable. So yeah, I think I think it's better than 5. It sucks that Dewey's not in it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Oh, okay.